Today we are going to learn how to derive the quadratic formula without using completion of the square. If you want to learn how to do this using the conventional method, using completion of the square, please feel free to check out that video of mine too. Now let us get into this. The general quadratic equation can be written as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is not equal to 0. And any quadratic equation has two solutions, and let us call those two solutions x1 and the other solution x2. It is a well-known fact that the sum of any quadratic equation's solutions, x1 plus x2, is equal to minus b over a. Similarly, we know that the product of the solutions of any quadratic equation, x1, x2, is equal to c over a. Feel free to solve any quadratic equation, plug in the values and check whether this is true. Next, let us consider a quadratic curve. Solving for the quadratic equation basically means finding the coordinates, the x coordinates of the points at which y is equal to 0. That is this point and this point. Let us call those 2 points the x coordinates of these points, x1 and x2, since those are the solutions of the quadratic equation. We know, due to the symmetrical property of any quadratic curve, that the center is an equal distance away from x1 and x2. And let's call that point x3. And therefore, we know that x3 is equal to the average of x1 and x2. Therefore, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, which is the average of x1 and x2, is equal to x3. And we know x1 plus x2 is equal to minus b over a. Therefore, by substituting that, we get minus b over, with this 2 over here, we get 2a. Next, we also know that these points are an equal distance away. So this distance and this distance are the same. Let us call that distance b. Therefore, we know that x1 is equal to x3 minus b, and x2 is equal to x3 plus b. Therefore, the product of these solutions, x1, x2, is equal to x3 minus b and x3 plus b, which can be simplified into x3 squared minus b squared. And by substituting the value of x3 we have over here, this value, here, we get b squared over 4a squared minus b squared equals x1 plus x2, as we have over here, is equal to c over a. Therefore, we write that here. Now we solve for d, that distance over here. And d is going to be equal to, so we'll first take d squared to the opposite side, to one side, and everything else to the opposite side of the equation side. So d squared is going to be equal to b squared divided by 4a squared minus c over a equals b squared. And by taking the common denominator here, we get b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. Now by taking the square root, we get d equals b squared minus 4ac, and basically the square root of that. We need to remember plus or minus divided by square root of 4a squared is equal to 2a. Now we can basically write down the equations for x1 and x2. So x1 is equal to x3 minus b, which is equal, so x3 is equal to minus b over 2a, minus b over 2a minus this particular equation. So that's going to be plus or minus. So since this is going to be minus and then the x2 is going to be plus here, it's really not necessary to have a plus or minus here. So we just use the positive sign there. So we have b squared minus 4ac square root divided by 2a. That's equal to minus b minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And then x2 is equal to x3 plus b. And that's equal to minus b divided by 2a plus b squared minus 4ac square root of that divided by 2a, and writing that with the common denominator we get minus b plus b squared minus 4ac square root divided by 2a. Now putting both of these together, we get x equals minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac square root divided by 2a. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the quadratic formula. As you can see over here, we derive this completely without using completion of the square technique. And that is something that I have noticed that students find a bit difficult, and therefore this technique might be a bit more easier to understand and easier to grasp. However, keep in mind that knowing how to do the completion of the square method is something which is very important. If you did not understand any problem or any thing that I did in this video, please feel free to post them in the comment section. Thank you for your time.